Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance and today we're talking about CleanSpark again because, again, how could we not talk about this company after all of the power outages in California? Now today is going to be a little bit different of a video and it's really just my very long-term bullish view of this company, where the microgrid industry is headed and all of that stuff. If you guys are new to CleanSpark and don't know what the company does or is, go watch the very first video I posted on this company. I'll leave a link down in the description and also a card you can click on up there. Before we get into the video, I just have to say a massive thank you to you guys. We hit 8,000 subscribers on Friday night. And already today, this is Monday afternoon when I'm recording this video, we already have over 8.2 thousand subscribers. So the growth has just been unreal, and I can't thank you guys enough for sharing my videos with your family and friends. But if you guys are new or returning and not yet subscribed, if that subscribe button is not turned gray yet, make sure you change that and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more content on CleanSpark and Workhorse and LCA or Golden Nugget Gaming, companies like that with very, very bright futures ahead of them. Now, I originally recommended buying CleanSpark stock at $4.63 a share. In the short life of this YouTube channel, that's easily the second best stock pick I've had to date so far. I picked Workhorse at $2.94 a share back when, and now that's over $15 a share, almost $16 a share. So that one has CleanSpark beat so far. But I don't know how long that'll last because CleanSpark has such a bright future. And yes, I know some of you guys may have clicked on this video, wow, this guy does not know what he's talking about. There's no way that CleanSpark is going to be a $500 per share company someday. And I just ask that you allow me to explain myself and my position on why I believe that. I know after I've seen all of these gains with CleanSpark, it's easy to fall in love with companies where you make all this money in a short amount of time. But trust me, I've factored in all of that, and I still come to the same conclusion that this company is going to be a $10 to $20 billion market cap company in the not too distant future. Also, I have to give a quick shout out to Rex Nation. We have just around 80 paid members paying $5 a month for automatic buy and sell alerts when I sell a stock or buy a stock, the private members only Discord server, the private members only live streams every Saturday night, as well as privately chatting with me. So if that's stuff that interests you guys, make sure you guys hit the join button down below next to the subscribe button for more information. Also, be sure you guys have watched my interview that I did with the current chairman of CleanSpark, Matthew Schultz. He did a great job explaining the company and the future growth prospects of the company as well. Make sure you guys watch that video before you watch this video because it'll make a lot more sense where I'm coming from if you've watched that interview video. Again, I'll leave a link to that video down in the description and a card up there that you can click on as well. So you may be wondering, how in the world is Rex coming to the conclusion that CleanSpark is going to be a $500 per share company? Well, you have to remember, CleanSpark has very few shares outstanding. And that $500 price target that I'm putting on this company is a price target that doesn't factor in any share dilution or public offerings that may come in the future. However, as Matthew Schultz said in the interview, they won't do public offerings or share dilution unless that dilution raises capital, which they can then put back into the company and increase shareholder value despite the shareholder dilution. In addition to that, another reason I really think CleanSpark is going to be a $10 to $20 billion company in the not too distant future is because they're part of a niche in a transformative, disruptive industry. And that industry is built up by people that want clean, dependable, cheap, and efficient energy, and CleanSpark is at the forefront of all of this movement. So moving completely to microgrids would be completely transforming the way America and other countries around the world produce, distribute, and consume their energy. That's why this industry has such potential upside. If we go to CleanSpark's investor relations page and open up their investor relations presentation, they have a great slide on here that explains the market opportunity in front of CleanSpark. It is a rapidly expanding market, and as you can read, the total microgrid capacity is expected to increase from 3.5 gigawatts to 20 gigawatts over the next decade. In addition to that, the global market for microgrids is expected to experience 28% compound annual growth rate from 2020 to 2029, nearing a $40 billion market industry. That is insane growth, and personally, I think those numbers are only going to increase and grow to larger amounts if we keep seeing issues like the ones we're seeing in California currently, and if people become more aware that the grid is not dependable. There's been research done that suggests a coordinated attack on 9 critical points of the traditional grid could leave America without power for over a year. If you want to disrupt America's country and or economy, shut down the grid, shut down the way we distribute, create, produce, and use our energy. By doing that, and only 9 critical points need to be hit, they could leave portions of America without power for over a year. The more and more people that become aware of this issue, the greater and greater the industry capabilities are. Just the other day, there was a Washington Post article written on this exact problem, titled "A Cyber Risk We're Not Prepared For. What if the power grid collapsed and America went dark?" I'll leave a link down to this article in the description down below. It basically just explains what would happen if the entire grid was shut down. Now, microgrids, what CleanSpark is focused on, aims to fix that problem. It would be nearly impossible to leave parts of America without power for over a year if America shifted their focus from the traditional power grid to microgrids. Another important thing to consider is that all microgrids need software to achieve optimal results. CleanSpark has a monopoly and a moat and a niche in that market. There is 0 other companies out there that are focused on the software behind microgrids. Now, they do have hardware. They do provide consulting services on how to better efficiently use and create energy for companies, but they're mainly focused on the software, which I think is extremely bullish because, as we can see from the investor relations presentation, they have 90% average margin on their software as a service and controls segment. And that's really the key. Microgrids can't achieve the optimal results of cost cutting for businesses, cheaper energy for businesses, cleaner energy for businesses, cheaper energy consumption for businesses. Anything and everything can't be optimally achieved without the software behind the microgrid, which is what CleanSpark is primarily solely focused on. The potential uses and benefits are seemingly endless for the use of microgrids. Like I already mentioned, the use of microgrids allows businesses to cut costs, use their energy more efficiently, emit greener and cleaner energy, as well as allowing businesses to never lose power ever again. CleanSpark has worked with the military, commercial spaces, retail spaces, you name it. The markets and industries that can use microgrids is endless. It's an infinite amount of uses that microgrids can be used for. For example, landlords or real estate investors can sell the energy that they produce from instilling a microgrid on top of their store chain. They can sell that energy to whoever they're leasing that space out to. So not only does it allow them all of those other benefits, but it can also be used as another revenue stream for these landlords. We've talked about all of this stuff, and we still haven't even brought up the fact that microgrids bring power capabilities to secluded areas that the traditional grid usually or normally isn't able to hit. I'll come back to this point a little bit later in the video with a current customer of CleanSpark's. Over this past weekend, the state of California has seen rolling blackouts across the state, leaving millions of people without power. The state of California has seen triple-digit temperatures, and that leads to many consumers, many households cranking up their air conditioners, cranking up their fans, which puts a lot of stress on the traditional power grid. California has been flirting with the possibility of seeing rolling blackouts return for the first time since 2001 for several years now. The traditional grid can simply not put up with the demand currently needed from these households and citizens of the state of California because of the insane heat. In addition to that, the state of California had to shut down their wind turbines because there wasn't any wind blowing. So this has been a massive problem for the state of California, leaving hundreds of thousands to millions of people without power for certain periods of time the past couple days. Now, the potential here for microgrids is a multi-leveled thing. I just got done saying they had to shut down power because there wasn't enough wind. Guess what a microgrid can do? It can store power in batteries for later use during peak hours or high demand time periods, like the ones we're seeing currently because of the high temperatures across the state of California. The traditional grid doesn't have batteries that they can store unused power in. It's really inefficient compared to the microgrid, where a microgrid can store that energy in batteries and then dish out that extra stored power when it is needed, like during these times of high stress in the state of California. So even if you had to shut down the wind turbines, if you had microgrids, you could still be receiving power from the stored energy that you have. In addition to that, the microgrids across the world that are already out there have very, very large solar capabilities. So when it's very hot out, like it is in California right now, the sun is shining and it is shining bright. So you can have solar panels plugged in to the microgrid, again, creating energy or storing that energy if it is not needed to better efficiently use that energy and distribute it. As time goes on, people realize they just want cheap, clean, and efficient energy. All of those things are brought by the microgrid. You don't have to be a landlord, you don't have to be a business to get a microgrid. You can be an everyday person like you or me at home saying, oh, I want to put a microgrid near my house because I don't want to pay an electric bill. I do not want to pay another company for electricity that could go out anytime. By having your own microgrid, you don't have an electric bill. You don't have to pay an electricity bill every single month, which is another great benefit of a microgrid. In addition to that, like I said, it is highly dependent. People rarely lose power because of microgrids. In fact, CleanSpark has worked with the United States military, like I mentioned, and has a microgrid that they implemented in at Camp Pendleton that has been running for 6 years without a hitch, non-stop. The microgrid has never been shut down. They have never lost power for 6 years at this military base. The reason California can be such a great market for CleanSpark is because it's one of 50 states, but it is one of the 50 states with many, many, many people, and like we have seen, lots of demand on the traditional power grid that it can't keep up with. The reason CleanSpark already has an advantage in California is because they've worked with companies and businesses and people in California in the past several times. Here's just one example of CleanSpark working in California that actually just happened in late June of this year, where CleanSpark announced a California off-grid software deployment. If we scroll through this press release, and I suggest all of you guys to read this press release, there's a lot of useful information in this press release. We can see that energy resiliency and savings were the primary vectors in MVSO's modeling exercise for the end user, a controlled distribution agricultural facility. You may be wondering, what is a controlled distribution agricultural facility? It's a cannabis growth facility in the state of California. Also, if you guys aren't aware, I'm sure most of you are if you're watching this video, MVSO modeling is modeling that CleanSpark does. It's their technology. So this is just one example of them working in California, and we see just yet another industry that microgrids can benefit. We see it benefiting the cannabis industry. These sorts of companies are very dependent on uninterrupted power. Microgrids bring that to these companies. If we see what Zach Bradford, the current CEO of CleanSpark, said, it's that, given the remote location of the end user's operation, local utility companies were unable to provide electrical grid service to the facility in a time frame that supported their business plans. By going completely off-grid, CleanSpark and Good Energy Solar have allowed the customer to create and independently own their energy system to meet their current and future power requirements. Our controls are designed to minimize fuel consumption and to provide the lowest possible levelized cost of energy. The system is designed to be fully expandable as the business grows. CleanSpark's M-Pulse software and control solution is uniquely capable of scaling as the system size and load increases and can easily integrate utility grid power if and when the utility provides electricity to the site. So there we go. Zach Bradford just explained more bullishness for us about the future of microgrids. This company is in a location that local utility companies were unable to go to and put up the traditional grid at. So just in what Zach Bradford said there, we can see that the future of microgrids is bright and it's growing and thriving currently. Well, clearly the possibilities and benefits of the use of microgrids is seemingly endless. All microgrids need software to achieve optimal results. Who's the only company that's focused on the software side of microgrids currently? That is CleanSpark. CleanSpark is quickly developing a monopoly in this ever so expanding industry. Also, I truly believe countries, especially United States of America, are going to transform the way they produce, distribute, and consume energy. We're already seeing it with the massive electric vehicle industry and shift to electric vehicles. We want to be cleaner and more efficient with the use of our energy. Microgrids are the answer. They allow for that. They allow for the production using solar panels and wind turbines, and they can all be connected and stored for later use if it's not needed at the current time. So these blackouts, the loss of power, would all be gone. So this entire video I've been talking about the software that CleanSpark provides, and I haven't even talked about their hardware or their consulting services, which they still have great margins on. But no matter who puts up the microgrids, whether it's CleanSpark or another company, chances are that other company or CleanSpark itself is going to use its own software to implement that new microgrid. In addition to that, CleanSpark is already planning on being net profitable by the end of this calendar year. And when you consider that according to Robinhood, CleanSpark has just under a 200 million market cap, the growth is just going to be insane for the stock price, especially after we achieve profitability and the microgrid industry and market continues to grow. As I go back to the investor relations slides, we can see that by the year 2022, CleanSpark is expecting $40 million in revenue. And if you guys watched my interview with Matthew Schultz, he said that these projections are conservative. $40 million in revenue compared to $10 million this current year in a 2-year time span. So we're going to double up our revenue in 2021, and then we're going to double up our 2021 revenue again into 2022, where we're going to see $40 million of revenue, and those are conservative projections. Within 2 years, we're going to see $30 million more of revenue, at least. So when I say this can be a $10 to $20 billion company down the road, it certainly can when we're seeing this dramatic of revenue growth anticipated over just the next 2 years. In addition to that, CleanSpark has little to no debt on their balance sheet, which is big for up-and-coming companies like this. So this entire video I've primarily focused on the United States of America. But through CleanSpark's partnership platform, they have connections and partnerships in countries all around the globe that are only going to continue to grow in size and number. In addition, CleanSpark has a customer who is the largest retailer in the United States of America. CleanSpark is also working with Tesla. Those are two ginormous companies that CleanSpark already has ties to. So in order for CleanSpark to become a $10 billion market cap company, we're going to need their market cap to grow by 50x. Now, that really isn't a lot when you consider where the industry is headed. They're growing revenues every year, as well as just the customers they have and the increasing orders they're receiving from the customers in bulk. Especially if we see the United States of America transition from the use of the traditional grid to cheaper, more efficient, and cost-effective energy distribution, production, and consumption. This company is going to succeed and succeed on a massive scale. CleanSpark has a monopoly in the ever so increasing industry. Microgrids provide cheap, cost-effective, efficient energy production, storage, consumption, distribution, and it's all uninterrupted power. What more could you want as a consumer or a business owner, a retail chain owner, you name it. So with that, guys, that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you guys really enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new video. Peace out.